Need a presenter? Your Event Audio has you covered. Closed-circuit audio equipment with turnkey operation at your trade show booth, live event, or private event. YourEventAudio.com is the place to go. DJ services, MC talent, and a whole lot more. Check out YourEventAudio.com today.
Save your seat now for Exhibitor Live 2024. The conference and exhibition for trade show and corporate event marketing is coming to Nashville, Tennessee, February the 25th to 28th. Exhibitor Live features 100 educational sessions and workshops covering everything you need to know to run a successful face-to-face marketing program. Plus, you'll enjoy 2 days to shop North America's largest exhibition of trade show and event products and services. Attention! Register now and save $400 with our early bird rate. Learn more at exhibitorlive.com. Hope you had an exceptional Christmas and getting ready for the New Year weekend here on the Exhibitor Now podcast. Mike Morrison, National Sales Director for WS Display. Mark Johnson, as you see there, is the owner of the Exhibitor Group, and we co-host this show. And Mark, we're going to wrap up year number one on a high note. A lot of things people are excited about, and I just love Christmas time. It was a great day earlier in the week with my family and grandkids and all of that going on. It was really a good time, and hope yours was as well.
Yeah, it was good to be there. And I never saw grandparents coming. And when my daughter was pregnant, to be honest, it was that, I've been too distracted with work for too many years. So she wasn't real happy with me. But boy, once Leo was born, as one of my friends said, it was the best club that you're now in. And I, had never part of it. And that was my highlight, is obviously family. We had a great time with all four of my kids hanging out over the weekend. And then Leo, getting to hang out with this little 5-year-old that is just, bright as a button. They all are. But they just really turn the light on. So I enjoy that. And I don't think we're going to have any more for a while, the way my family's going. So Leo gets all the attention, which is not a bad thing either.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I thought the three we had, I was going to do it for a while. Katie is single. She has no intentions. She teaches kids and my daughter at school. So those are her kids, which I'm totally fine with. I bought them presents too. I mean, it's just, how things are. Your families look different now in 2023 than maybe in the past. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a grab onto culture. Things are changing, and it's not for necessarily a bad thing. Hey, you know what? Just came out this past Friday was the last issue for the 2023 Exhibitor Magazine. It hit the mailboxes on Friday, according to Emily Olson. And the top 3 items of interest in this end-of-year edition include the Exhibit Design Awards. There was a webinar for that last week, which took place, and it was very well attended and very popular with the viewers. This issue also has the 2024 Buyer's Guide. Now, that's a great resource going into a new year, trying to find everything you need. And then there was a 101 piece on AV best practices. It's a very helpful list of questions to use when shopping for a provider. So, Mark, it sounds like it's going to be a great addition to wrap things up for 23 for Exhibitor Magazine.
Yeah, I think we did a great year in the magazine and the editorial staff as they went forward. We talked about it before. We had a great conference earlier, September, October, and really excited about what they're putting together for the coming year and all the different, actually, vehicles we'll be talking about. There'll be different media people or places that you'll see the information. But yeah, I want to make sure that we did talk about the awards program. That came up last year. There was some question about how they were and were they pay to play, that kind of stuff. That's not the case. So what we want to make sure we were clear in that webinar was how to participate. What is the criteria? What do the judges use to select people? It's not us. It's not Exhibitor Magazine that makes the call. We have a separate group in most cases as panels that really make those judgments. So it was good. I'm glad it was well attended. Look forward to the awards this year and the whole year of the editorial. It's going to be great.
Absolutely. You got a great person there with Emily. Of course, you got Charles Pappas on staff and then Ben and everybody that's going to team up and I'm sure make 2024 even a better year than 2023. And I think that's what we're all looking forward to with Exhibitor Group for coming up for the next year. And not, you know, last week in last week's show, I mentioned the term bleisure, and of course, everybody had heard the term before. I just seen it more and more as of late, and a new term came out this week that I thought was interesting and has possibly an interesting parallel moving forward with trade shows and face-to-face live events. And this term is called revenge tourism. If that's on your dance card, great. If you haven't heard that one, check this out. Taylor Swift, no stranger to media and what's happening with her this year. Beyonce, Pearl Jam, all of their shows became destination trips, and fans were willing to empty their wallets and basically build their vacation plans around these concerts. You too, of course, as you know, Mark, set the precedent with the Las Vegas Sphere, and they put the exclamation point on that trend with that $2.2 billion huge facility that's got 16K resolution screens all the way around, and it houses over 18,600 fans every night. And people are just flocking to these events. And I guess my question, Mark, is if the music industry is seeing this kind of explosion of quote unquote, we'll go anywhere to see you at any cost, unquote, well, surely this has got to be a strong indicator that the trend for in-person events and trade shows, conferences, we should see something similar, or am I off base with that?
No, I think you are going to see that increased volume, especially as this trend continues. We're experiential people, and we want to get that. As Jim Gilmore wrote, The Experience Economy many years ago, that is just continuing. And with COVID, we were kind of held back, and now we want to go back and go with it. And I think the numbers we're still seeing, it was a good retail season, but a lot of money was spent on experiences versus just hard goods, to give away for gifts and that. And so I see a lot of that. And yeah, I think we've created the importance of family. You're going to come and see family. You created the importance of get-togethers and face-to-face. And yeah, I think you're going to continue to see the numbers increase for our trade shows. Our B2C events are off the charts for the customers that we're doing proprietary events for. They're getting their numbers back. So I think we're on our way back to it. We've talked about the economy. It's still going to be a little slow early, but it doesn't seem to slow anybody down. I mean, for what those tickets are going for, U2 and Adele and all of those in Vegas, it's crazy. And the Formula One, I mean, these are events that are just continuing to go, and people are getting out there that still got some hangover from the COVID and want to make sure they still get a chance to get out and see people.
Well, you bring that up, and I'll touch on it just a very brief. I know we've had listeners say, Mike, don't mention COVID anymore. I'm sorry, it's really kind of part of our life now. You're really just not going to get around it. And of course, we know this JN1 variant that's out there. I was reading stats earlier that 57% of the cases in the United States right now are in the Northeast, primarily New York and New Jersey. Well, that tells you a lot because weather sucks there and it's more dense and people are all over each other, on top of each other there. So that kind of makes sense. I do have local people who I know have it. It's no different than the cold. So the symptoms seem to be going down in a way, but it's never going to go away. But I think it's twofold. My personal opinion. Yes, you're right. The people were pinned up during 2020 and parts of 2021 and even last year to an extent, and they want to get out and go. So they're going to go. So we know that. But then, secondly, I just think it's a culture change. People are, we talked about this a couple of times about even Christmas, where, and you just said it a second ago, people are giving experiences, not giving hard goods. But our culture has always been give the hard good. And I just watch these families, mine included, and how they're trying to tussle through what we used to do and now what we want to do. And the two seem to be colliding a bit. Don't you think that we're kind of struggling with?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of this is a major culture shift. You're seeing a lot more still working from home or remote or hybrids. And so that does bring a whole different element to it. And change takes a little time. Some of it was drastic when COVID hit. And we're going to say COVID for years. I don't think it's a dead or a downbeat subject. It's the reality. It's the flu. It's the cold. You're going to get that now. My mother-in-law and her partner got it over the weekend, so they didn't come to Christmas, but it was a cold. They felt just very similar to the cold symptoms that they've had before. And I think we're just going to deal with that for some time. And to be honest, COVID in some ways might have been around before we saw COVID, that kind of mentality. So we'll see. I think it's it's just part of our environment now and part of that culture change, as you're saying, with families and how things are shifting. It's going to be great. You know, we haven't done a family reunion in years. Remember, we used to do those as kids every year. You
Oh
talk to
yeah.
my kids now, and they don't. What would you do, huh? So things like that do shift and change, and we'll keep working on it. Let's try to do what we can to take the good out of it and improve that, and continue to drive not only our families and our friends, but also our industry. So I'm excited about what's going to happen with it.
Let's wind up the front end with this. We started this podcast a year ago. The second episode was actually basically called Trends for 2023. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. But we're going to end this front end with the idea of, besides what we've already talked about,
Mhm.
what do you think 2024 will look like from an end of December perspective, and how it will affect our industries of trade shows, live events, and experiential marketing?
Yeah, I think you're going to see, as we've talked about it over and over, AI is going to be the biggest influence we're going to all deal with in 2024. We're seeing it how quick it came on the our dashboards and our visibility this year. And I was telling you off, Mike, the amount of change my organization and anybody I talk to has gone through in just months. And I really think that's going to help us back to the workforce is one of the big issues. We're still struggling with workforce. And how do we bring more people into this industry? We got some good news with that with Tommy last week, but it's still going to be an issue. But I think AI will help us with that because you can get more work done faster now with the use of AI. We're seeing it in a lot of ways. I haven't got figured out how to AI to actually build an exhibit yet, but we'll kind of work on that, see if that goes. I think that's a big one. I think the workforce will continue. We're still going to have this global issues that we have with the countries, with Russia and Ukraine and what's going on in Israel and Hamas. Those things I think are going to continue. I think you're going to see something coming out of North Korea since they helped Russia. What I'm reading is that they're going to get a little bit more in the nuclear world than they are today as part of their reward or payback for helping to support Russia. So I think we're going to have things like that that are always going to be there. And I'm afraid that there's going to be more of the conspiracy theorists and a little bit more of the downers. But I'm on the side that I think it's going to be a good year. What we heard from a lot of economists and a lot of the associations this year was 2024 will start off a little slow, but then we're going to have many years of good growth, not fast, not as crazy as we've been through, but nice steady growth. And I'm excited about that. And I think that's why I'm looking at 2024.
The one thing I'd like to see that's become a trend, and you've talked about it a couple of times, is behavioral. I really would like to see our culture kind of ease up a little bit, get away from the Chad and the Karen mentality a little bit, and then just also, and I get it's shock and awe value. I've used that phrase many times before. It's all about high impact. It's hits on TikTok and it's hits on the Facebook Reels. But we as a society, if we're going to graduate on out of the horrible circumstances that we suffered through COVID and everything that we're coming out of, I really wish we would learn how to behave. And I don't know how other way to say it, because that is a cultural thing for me. I got a beating every day, whether I deserved it or not, which I guess kind of goes to the point of why I'm not in jail. It's why I'm not on the newspaper headlines, if there's such a thing anymore, or at least on the social media that I got arrested for acting out of line. But now it almost seems like it becomes a medal, Mark, that of just losing your mind out there. That's one thing I really wish I would see people just behave themselves better.
Yeah, I don't know. There seems to be an awful lot with that. And I agree. I think we've talked about it on culture, how people show up on airplanes and, flight Delta clubs. And you look at these people and they're sea level and they're dressed like they're going to bed. They got their jammies on or something and how people show up to each other. And we've got to figure out how, doesn't matter what side of politics you are, but I wish we would be able to go back to where we can agree to disagree and let's compromise. Let's figure out a way to move it forward and help each other out a little bit and not be so attacking with some of the things that we've seen in our politics this year. We're going to see again, I think, unfortunately, we're going to have a whole bunch of that next year as it continues and as we go through 24 with the election and then what happens there. And then just around the world, the global threats that we have that are kind of playing its cards out. It's just, it feels like we've swung so far on this hatred meter. And families have been divided on some of these political natures where you can't even invite them to Christmas because you're afraid what's going on with it. We got to get past that. Just go, yeah, hey, I live in Minnesota, so I've got 4 neighbors that are Green Bay Packer fans. I got to love them just as much as Kirk Cousins, the quarterback, lives down the street. We all got to just get along, can't we? Let's figure out how to do it.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it any better. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to take just a quick time out, do a short break, and we'll come back and we're going to look at 2023 in review, go over the top 5 listened to shows, and talk about a couple of other things before we head into 2024 and wrap things up here for 2023. Take a quick break, come back with your second half of the show after this.
Are you searching for trade show and event products and services? Find It on Exhibitor Exchange is your complete buyer's guide to trade show exhibiting and events, featuring the trade show industry's top exhibit and display providers. Find It on Exhibitor Exchange is the industry's best shopping and commerce resource for buyers and sellers of exhibit and event products and services. Reaching 20,000 exhibit and event buyers in every print issue of EXHIBITOR Magazine, and 140,000 exhibit and event buyers online each year. Search the listings or list your company today. Learn more at exhibitoronline.com/findit.
Attention, trade show and event marketing professionals. Are you ready to take your face-to-face marketing expertise to the next level? Join more than 3,000 candidates currently enrolled in Exhibitor Group's Certified Trade Show Marketer Program. CTSM is corporate America's top source of the industry's best trade show and corporate event training. CTSM certified trade show marketers enjoy expanded career opportunities, greater respect and authority in their organizations, and earn higher salaries than their acronym-free peers. Learn more, earn more. Visit ctsm.com today. Welcome back to the Exhibitor Now podcast. Mark, what in the world are you doing back there?
Mike, I'm making my end of the year drink. This has been one of my favorites this year. It's a smoked old fashioned. So I start out with a little, Traeger makes this smoked simple syrup.
The grill
So
people.
put that in there, so get a little sweetness to it. And again, since we were in Louisville, I got a little of Evan Williams, very
Good call.
preferred stock. There's a few other varieties back here, so any whiskey will do, your favorite. So you put a little of that in there. And then, I really love some of these nice high-end cherries that go with it.
Aw.
So you put a little of the cherry juice. And then you gotta have your bitters. So you got your regular bitters that go with it. If you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right, Mike. And then you've got the orange flavored bitters. And then what makes a big difference too is you gotta have a good garnish. So I actually have an orange peel that I use. And that really makes a big difference for an old fashioned. And you can go with whatever drink you want. I think I'll start out with a low ball. A little orange around it. And then you put this in a nice little baker. You shake it up.
Pick it up. Yeah.
And then there you go. We'll put that in here. Little orange around it and inside, and now we can finish the show. I got my drink.
Now, were you a bartender in college?
I was
Or-
not, but you know what I did, Mike? I'll tell you a secret too. We do this every New Year's Eve. We do a cocktail party at Star, and we want to bring in a special drink because I grew up on Windsor Coke. I mean, it's pretty easy to make. And then as we went forward with it, it was we're continuous learners. What do you really need to have a bar? It doesn't take a lot to have ingredients to have a bar. So when you have family over or friends, they can make their own drink. But how do you really do what some of these craftsmen do? It's not that hard to do. Those bartenders, some of them are off the charts. I'm not flipping bottles, but to make a good cocktail, it's just a little touch of the garnish, the different flavors, just a little adding. Like I said, if you're going to do anything in life, I think you got to do it right and give it your all.
Well, so if you see Mark in Nashville teaching a 101 session on how to mix your drinks for your upcoming get together, then I'd take that course. Then if he does teach it, I'll take it myself. That's pretty cool.
I'll have
To
to talk
wrap
to
things,
Monica and see if we can get it on the agenda. So we'll
that's
talk to
right.
Monica and see.
Talk to
Yeah.
you got to pull with the education person there. I'm sure you can pull that off. Um, let's go back to 2023 and review the top 5 listened to episodes. I thought this shook out about right. The number 5 show was actually, that's the number. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, number 5 show was Freeman's Martin Mogray, who came on back in the summer after the Sparks acquisition. You may remember that. And he got on to talk about the two, a general contractor and a pretty much a custom exhibit house, and how they're going to experiential building as well, how they were going to merge together. The 4th most listened to came from our ESCA Summer Educational Conference. This is where you and I, Mark, sat down with David Dubois, who was in the middle of that transition of leaving IAEE and coming over to Exhibitor Group. And we also had made the announcement at that show about Fern and Nth Degree, obviously a huge story in 2023. The number 3, and you and I were talking about a lot about this off mic and also on the front end, is trends for 2023. It was Kai Hattendorf from UFI who came on the show. It was our 3rd show, last show in January, actually. And we talked about several things that might be concerns. Some played out, some didn't play out. But that's the thing about trends and predictions. You never know what's going to happen. Our number 2 show, which kind of hurts my feelings and wasn't number 1, but it was the very first show that Mark and I did, where we welcomed everybody to the Exhibitor Now podcast. I would have thought that had been number 1, but apparently John Hintz, who is the CEO of Fern and Nth Degree, edged us out there by about 25 or so listens, and was the number 1 show. But all those top 5 were great shows. I consider them all great in year number 1 as we wrap it up and we move forward into 2024. We got great plans in 2024. We were off mic talking about our plans to get with editorial and to get a lot more involvement in content with CTSMers and with people who are directly influenced by Exhibitor Group. We like to talk about the trends and we talk about the news stories. That's been my forte for the last 7 years. But getting more and more information out about Exhibitor Group and pushing that agenda is where we need to focus our show.
Yeah, I think 23 did a lot for our industry. There's a lot of changes and things that moved on. For me personally and for Exhibitor, we had a great show back in Louisville and it was good to come out. There were some things there that we learned from that, and we made some drastic changes, all for the better. And when I mean drastic, the improvement on level with David Dubois running it now, and with Kim Gischler taking over the content and really driving the editorial team and where we're going to go with our insights and that. And then Monica taking over in education. What she's doing and what we're coming up with is it's going to be great. I mean, it's just a whole different team. And as you said, our editorial team now is really committed to our success here on how do we get the right guests? How do we get the right content? When I look at your top 5, it really comes down to content. What did we have there that people wanted to hear about? And we want to make sure we're getting more of the view from the CTSM, the corporate marketers, the people that are really driving the program. And I think we have been winking at it. You're going to see real soon, early in 24, some things that we're doing for the community that's actually the C-suite, a little bit higher up, and how we're inviting them into this program and into our industry, being a little more connected with Exhibitor and some of the things that we've done. So I'm really excited about what we accomplished with 23. I appreciate everybody's support. It was with their help and guidance and the feedback and the surveys that gave us some of the direction to go where we're going. And I think 24 is going to be that much better. And, it might mimic a lot of 2019 as far as volume and revenue and things that we're going to all see at events. So I'm excited.
It'll be a great year. We know that, especially these after coming out of 2020 into 21, 22, finishing up 23. The trend is great. Yes, the economy might be a little crazy right now. The political landscape of more than off the chain as far as weirdness goes, for lack of better words, and the polite way of saying it. We're going to see an interesting 2024. I don't think the dust has settled on that yet, but however it settles, maybe we can move forward out of that progressively. But right now, the trend looks very, very good. I think the focus right now is getting through January and getting into February and getting closer and closer to Nashville. If you have not gotten your ducks in a row yet and involved with everything that's coming, you probably should do that, because it is going to creep up on us very, very quickly, as we know. I mean, we just purchased our booth, which we were late to the game on, but we did get in there, and we got a few other announcements we're going to be doing as a first for us at Exhibitor that we're really excited about. So yeah, there's a lot of things that we all need to jump out of our safe zones and go out there and play the experiential game a little bit, try something new, see how it works, dabble in AI a little bit maybe, and just see where it takes you. Because I think 2024, especially Exhibitor Live and everything coming after that, should be a good for the industry, and really looking forward to that.
Yeah, but speaking about coming out of our comfort zone a little bit, Mike, aren't we missing something in your attire?
Yeah, you are. All right, let's cut to it. I
Yeah.
did announce last week that I would have the vest out, and we're going to wrap it up with this. This is my DJ vest that the people at EDPA saw while they were down in Florida, and so I did break it out again for today. This is not the attire that I would wear this normally with. I'd probably have a white shirt on or something like that. I'm just going to button up enough for you to see what's going on. But I also mentioned last week that I had a Christmas gift that was coming. It was going to be a much better hat than I had last week, because that hat is not in the garbage, but it's right next to it. I did not throw it away. I could not make myself throw it away. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to cut the lights off in my office, and when I get ready to DJ on New Year's Eve night, which I do have a gig that I'll be doing, I'm going to have this bad boy on right here. This is my new DJ hat for New Year's Eve, and it's got 11 settings on it. You can do all kind of different colors. You can do, as you can tell there, it'll do light shows. It's all fiber LEDs, which you talk about technology. That's crazy to see this in a hat. But I'll put it on like right there, and it'll just do color changing. And along with the sequin vest, I'll get thrown out probably halfway through the gig. But I'll short circuit the event. So I've got a couple of shots of double black Johnny Walker in here with my my Coke Zero. You've got your what do you call it? Old fashioned. Thank you.
Yep.
It's tough to get old. You lose your memory. So hey, Happy New Year. I hope you all have a great beginning of your 2024. Thanks for hooking up with Mark and I on the Exhibitor Now podcast. We're going to try to work hard to make this bigger and better in 2024, but we appreciate your support through 2023. I hope you have a great New Year's from the Exhibitor Now podcast.
Yeah, Mike, I couldn't say it any better. So thanks to all of our listeners. And Mike, thanks to you for everything you've done for us. Cheers. Hope 2024 is the best for all of us that are listening and here in this industry. And let's get another hat. And whoever comes, you have to be present at Exhibitor Live, but we'll give one of those hats away.
We'll give one away. I will get you another hat to give away.
We'll do that. All right. Cheers.
The Exhibitor Now podcast. Give us 30 minutes, and we'll give you everything you need to know now.